his whole private life over the airwaves there. We'll return to that later. Biggins and Don Neeson going through the papers today. You know, Chris, we're having a laugh here, and goodness me, and people want a laugh,
we
especially
do
on a
need
Monday.
to have a bit of a laugh.
But we can't ignore what's happening to all those people, and this death toll in, what's it, 34,000 or so at the moment, heading towards £50,000 in the Syria-Turkey earthquakes. But still, some stories that defy all logic from it.
I know, like buried today in the Mirror, buried for 150 hours. And this child, little girl, 2 years old, alive. I mean, it's just amazing. And when you consider that people are going from all over the world to help, it's fantastic. And the pleasure they must get and derive from the fact that they are saving so many lives.
Against the odds, that's what, 7 days really we're talking
yes,
about.
7 days.
You see, you know, when you see these children being pulled out and everybody's wrapped around them,
you know,
I mean, you're so involved. I mean, as a parent myself, I just think, my goodness. And then I start worrying about, but what's going to happen to this child after it's pulled out? Where are his parents? How is it going to grow up? What, you know, it's not just about rescuing it. It's about what has happened to their life.
And what about the baby whose mother was dead, and she was, the umbilical cord was still there?
The placenta was still attached.
I mean, and all her family were dead. I mean, it's just terrifying.
It's
the scale
shocking.
of it.
The scale is unbelievable, and you're right, Eamonn, it's going to get worse.
When I even saw a little dog being dug out, and its head was visible.
Yeah,
they had to take all this debris around from it, and these concrete reinforced blocks around it, and that made me emotional. They got that little dog out. It was yelping with pain as they were pulling it from under this pillar. But I mean, it is a miracle when we talk about the child that you have talked about, that 2-year-old girl, 150 hours. Anybody that comes out of that, an absolute miracle. But as Sarah says, what are they coming out to?
I know, that is the terrifying
And I think for us, a lot of people from here go to Turkey for their holiday. So
it's a great country.
It's a country that we're used to, we love, and it pains us so much to see it like that, doesn't it?
You can't begin to imagine what it's like, and that poor man who sat and held his daughter. That's the image I can't get out of my head. That poor man who sat and held his daughter's hand. She was 15 years old, buried, and obviously dead under the rubble. And he just sat there all night and held her hand. And it's like, even talking about that, it's like, oh my God, you just can't imagine your loved ones and what they're going through.
We just can't. Dawn, another story that I personally, I'm sure a lot of people have invested personally in it, is the Nicola Bulley disappearance. You look at her, she looks so accessible. She looks like somebody you know. She looks like somebody who you would, see down at the local school, who would live in your street or whatever. She just is so beautiful, so accessible. And the CCTV pictures that showed her packing up her car, bringing her kids to school, putting the dog in the back, an hour before she went missing, she just didn't look like a woman who didn't intend coming back.
That's the thing, Eamonn, with this story. It's the ordinariness of what she was doing, taking the kids for school, dropping the kids off, going for a walk the dog, and then just simply vanishing. And the story has moved on slightly. This is a witness, it doesn't want to be named, but has come forward and said he saw 2 men acting suspiciously near where Nicola disappeared, and they were carrying fishing rods, but they didn't have any other paraphernalia like the tackle boxes or anything that goes with it. And they were covering their faces, and this witness is saying, well, it wasn't particularly cold, which you could understand maybe if they had a scarf around their face. And he thought they were acting suspiciously, but thought nothing of it, then heard that Nicola had disappeared and reported it to the police. And this is where there is a lot. I mean, I don't want to criticise police. They do an awful lot of good work. But the police didn't get back to him for 9 days to investigate the lead he had given them. And you have to wonder, well, why? There are so many mysteries, so many unanswered questions about this. But again, we're talking about the children in Turkey. But I mean, Nicola's 2 little girls, like 6 and 9. And, every day they just want their mum.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure none of her family can absolutely get their head around sort of like the fact that she's just, where is she? Is she in pain? Does she need help? But those poor little girls, how do you explain to children of that age what's happened?
It's incomprehensible.
It is.
Just moving it on a little bit, do you feel that this story has impacted your life, like, I do take my dog out for a walk in my local park at 7:30.
And you probably wear hats like she's worn.
You know, and I am not a scared person. I go running by myself. This has actually scared me. And I feel a little bit vulnerable, and I don't like that feeling. Yeah. And part of the reason is because the police, I feel, they're not giving me confidence that they're capable of sort of moving things forward quickly and putting public safety as a priority. Well, they didn't corner off all of that sort of stuff. But it's just like, what is going on?
You can sit on the bench where she disappeared from.
But the police are at the lowest of low, aren't they, when you consider what's going on with the police? You know, the fact that they're rapists and people like that. You know, it's got to look at itself a lot more. I mean, I think, for instance, I find this bizarre that they've spent all this time not going down. The fact that all of us know that she didn't slip into that water, and the fact that they couldn't find her, then surely you'd move on, because there must be another reason. And why aren't they not going down that other reason? It's bizarre.
It is the most curious case.
Does it make you, as a female, worried?
It's not so much, I have to admit, but what does keep going through my mind is when you have, say, someone you love, like your other half, or a child going off to play football on a Saturday morning, your other half walking the dog or going to the shops, and they're just never coming back.
Right,
that uncertainty.
Let's look at other issues. We had the Brit Awards at the weekend. They were gender neutral, weren't they? As far as I know, they were.
Yeah.
So also, what were these awards last night then, Christopher, in the
Well, these were the What's on Stage Awards, and it's interesting. The Brit Awards were complaining bitterly that there were no women getting awards or being, in fact, nominated. Whereas here, I mean, it was unbelievable. The actresses were galore were being nominated, and of course, the wonderful Jodie Comer won Best Performance. And it's interesting.
Yes, it wasn't Best Actress or Best Actor.
It was Best Performance. Yeah. So she was up against a lot of men: David Tennant, Jonathan Bailey for Cock. Do you see Cock?
Sorry? Where's this going? Sorry.
Called Cock in the West End.
No, I'm afraid I haven't had the pleasure.
Oh well, it was excellent, really good, very. It was on the Ambassador's Theatre.
I don't really want to ask what it was about.
I was just going to say.
I'll leave that to your imagination. But you know, it was a lot of men and women being voted for the same category, and which was great. I think. You know, I think that is good. I mean, I think that. I'm not too sure about the neutral gender feeling that goes on nowadays.
I think it's normally the women that lose out. The Brits, it's certainly gender neutral, so you didn't have the best female performer and the best male performer. It was just the best performer, and it was all men.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to Harry Styles, who won, he did actually name-check all the women that were
which
nominated.
I thought was great.
But it's always the women that lose out in.
Yeah, but they didn't lose out last night at the What's on Stage.
No, that's what I'm saying. That is actually, you know, the one that stands out as being different. But the music awards tend to, if you have a gender-neutral category, it's always the men that actually get most of the nods and the women lose out.
But if we want equality, men and women treated exactly the same,
I'm not entirely sure this is going down the right road to do it, I must admit. I think, because, you know, male and female performers bring different things to the performance, so why do we need to?
But the thing is, women aren't that represented in the industry anyway, so we've kind of got like a handicap anyway before you even start.
Well,
there's not enough of us in the industry.
So more women in the industry, more nominations, please.
I must say, I prefer Best Actress and Best Actor.
Yeah.
I think that is, you know, because you're right. It is a very different thing, acting, you know, from male and female.
Talking about male and female, men usually buy women rings when they get engaged. Now, when these women get married, they're opting to basically say, that was all very nice, Cyril, when we were dating and whatever, and you were a trainee apprentice and whatever, but now we earn more money, we want to upgrade our engagement ring.
You know, I can't believe this story. Why would you? My husband, I mean, it's got a diamond chip. It wants to be a diamond when it grows up. But my husband put that ring on my finger when I was 18 years old. It's very rarely been off. I would never dream of upgrading that in a million years.
Because
I am that woman that's going to upgrade. Honestly.
Moving swiftly
on. You know why? Because actually my engagement ring this isn't my engagement ring, but it fell out when I was working out, okay? So I said to Steve, I said, well, I want, now that, you know, it's fallen out, I'm not going to get exactly the same one. I'd like to upgrade. Well, it still hasn't been done, but, you know. But why would you go for the same one if you can get something a bit better?
How long did it take you chiselling the old one out? It was loose, darling, honestly, but that big one over there.
But why not? Why not?
You're going to go for another sapphire or a diamond this time?
It was a diamond.
Oh, it was a diamond.
Oh,
sorry, I thought you said sapphire. Sorry.
Guys, got to say goodbye to you two. They're going to be back in 40 minutes' time.